Welcome to Let's Talk Dentistry with Mango Voice. Today, I have a really special guest that I am excited to talk to and learn from, Mackenzie. Why don't
Hello.
you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do for Mango Voice?
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me on the podcast. I am on the partnerships team. So I work alongside Rich, Tyler, Serena, and you and Laura to just help manage our partnerships that we do have and then also grow our partnerships as well that we have. So that way, in turn, we can grow Mango.
I have to say, it's got to be one of the funnest companies I ever worked with. Like, I love it because, I told everyone when I came on that the reason I picked Mango is because you never hear anyone, complain. I think the culture is such a great culture and it's so much fun. And Kevin and Rich are so great to work with, right? It's just a great, great company.
They really are. I also was about ready to leave dental, to be quite frank. I had worked at a marketing company prior during COVID, and then I moved over to a different SaaS platform, and I was just ready to go, I thought. And then I remember I was at CDA a year or two back, and Rich was like, let's go on a walk around the expo hall together. And at the time, we were competitors. So I was like, why does he want to go on a walk with me? And I was always just very jealous of the Mango Voice environment, like walking by their booths and just anyone that you met, like they were great people. So when he asked me to work for them, I was like, oh yes, I am not going to leave dental yet. I'll try it. One more company, but
Yeah,
I'm so glad that I did.
I love working with you. We did one of our events together and you're absolutely great. But so here's what I want to know. A lot of people ask me, they say, Kay, tell me what is Mango. So tell me what Mango started out as and tell me the journey of where we're going. So let's talk about where we started.
Yeah. So Mango Voice started in 2013. I wasn't on the team yet, but they did start, I think they had about 350 practices that they were working in, and it was a voice over IP system. So they did the phones. And then obviously as technology evolves and the years go on where we are today, we now no longer are just a VoIP company. We are honestly an AI-led company that does offer VoIP solutions. So we have a bunch of different features now into our platform. So that way it's not just a phone company. We have AI receptionists, we have AI analytics, we have, AI transcriptions, and then just writing back into the practice management systems to make it easier across healthcare now. So when we started in dental, we've grown quite a bit now.
So we've grown a long way. What are some of the newest features? We started out as a phone company, and I know you've listed a whole bunch of things. So let's just go into each one of those individually. So what's the newest thing that we're doing as of right now?
The newest thing is our AI receptionist. And our AI receptionist, we named ours Margo. So we just swapped the N. And essentially, Margo is there to take those phone calls that the team members at the office cannot take. And I'm sure you've been in the office that there are days where that phone keeps ringing and it feels like you have 8 arms. So our AI receptionist was built so we can let the team members focus on the number one priority, which is the patients. So yeah, our AI receptionist is our newest feature, and I'm biased, but I think one of the most important features that most practices are starting to inquire about in dental. So it seems like AI is the biggest buzzword going on right now.
Tell me how that works. So I'm working with the patient. I'm checking a patient out. The phone rings. I've got 3 people waiting. It goes straight to our AI. And so what happens from there?
What happens from there, Margo will answer the phone and explain to the patient, hi, this is Margo from ABC Dental. I'm the AI receptionist. Let me know what your name, your date of birth is. But however the office wants it to be handled, most of the time it'll ask for the patient's name and date of birth. So that way it can verify which patient the AI agent is talking to. And then we'll start asking questions depending on what the office wants it to ask. So, when I tested our Margo and I would call, I would say my name, my date of birth, and then asking me why I was calling today. So I was saying that, as a test, I'm having some tooth pain. And then Margo will respond and ask where that tooth pain is and if it's sensitive to cold, heat, how intense it is. So different questions kind of gauge how intense is this. And then obviously will alert the patient if you're having a true dental emergency to hang up the phone and call 911. So I think Margo is great and will handle those calls just as you would if you were a team member answering the phone. But one thing with Margo is it'll gather all of that information and then share that information with the office as well. So that way the office knows when they're going to call that patient back, what was said, how intense it is, and kind of gauge where that call will go prior to calling back,
I
which I
love
think
that.
is
Even
really
if even if
awesome.
the office is closed, can the phone still get answered?
Yeah, even if the office is closed or you want it to happen while during the lunch hour, you can turn Margo on to handle all of those calls. I think there is a statistic like 30% of callers aren't leaving voicemails. So, and I'm guilty. I'm one of those people that I just keep calling until
Hang it.
somebody answers. Yeah.
Yeah. I would much rather talk to, Margo than anybody else. So then she also speaks different languages. Am I correct?
Yes. I believe Margo speaks 4 to 5 languages, but understands more. Spanish being the main one. I don't have all of the names off the top of my head, but yes, Margo is multilingual and will give you that transcript back in English, to my
And the
understanding.
transcript, if they're a patient of record, will the transcript be kept with the record? Is that an option?
Yes. So since we do integrate with most practice management systems, everything will be living within the practice management system as well as our Mango Voice application as well. And then for the Margo transcripts, we do send an encrypted email to the office of those calls as well.
I love the benefit of that. The benefit would be like if I was the, receptionist that I've already got the information. So when I call the patient back, they don't have to repeat themselves. I've already
Yeah.
gathered it up. I know what they're calling for, and I'm going to call with the solution. I'm going to call with an appointment.
Mhm.
I'm going to call with the financial issue they were having, whatever it was. It gives me time in my slower time to make sure that I follow up with that, do that work, and get back to them.
And follow up with a calm, collected tonality as well. Because, I mean, if you're so busy running in and out of operatories and you answer the phone, I've felt at my dental office, I can tell they're busy because they're just really trying to rush me off the phone. But when you have a moment to read everything and call them back, then you're like, okay, I can handle this call to the best of my
I think
ability.
I think that to me is a win-win for every office. I think that's
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, as someone who's worked in an office for years, I would say that would be like my best friend. Like, honestly, it's like, especially when you're doing all these things. Okay. So now I know we also, so we have Margot. Now we also do stats. And so if I was an owner of a practice, of course, we know the dentists are at the chair there with the patients. But at the end of the day, if a doctor wants to know, well, how did it go? Like, I think the phone's the number one thing. Phones are, you can market all day, but if you don't have the phones taken care of and answered, you're losing dollars. You're losing revenue. And so can you go over some of the stats that
Yeah.
Margo will also give us?
Yes, for sure. Let me share my screen so that
Okay.
way I could show you a couple of them.
And
See
what you're
here.
sharing is something that a doctor can see at the end of the day.
Yes, they can look back on these stats all hours of the day. They can log into the app and then see that. So I'm going to share our website so that way we're not pulling our calls that we have, but we can see here. So it's in our analytics, but so when you're in our Mango app and then you click into a phone call, there's a stats tab that you can click into where you can actually see here. So you could click into every call individually and click in the stats to be able to see how long you're putting practices on hold for, if there were any interruptions, and the office talk speed.
So if they were rushed off the phone?
Yes. So you can see in the call when you click in, you could see the sentiment of the phone call. So the overall tonality and diction, if it was going positively, neutral, or negatively, how that call was going. You could see the office talk time versus listening. So you could see here the talking was at 51%, the listening was at 49%, pretty even. And then you could see overall if the tone was positive or negative. And then we also are able to see if there were interruptions and how many there were in those calls as well.
Interesting.
Yes. So it's pretty nice. And
Yeah.
this all is living within our Mango Voice app. And then depending on what their practice management system is, this sentiment right here will show in certain practice management systems as well, along with the office call summary or the phone call summary as well. So this will transcribe place that call summary into the patient communication logs into the practice management system, which is huge.
Which really will support the team member in saying, this is what was said on the phone. Because I've seen it where the patient will say, oh, you said this, and that's not what was said. And so this is really going to be a win-win to be able to say, well, let me go back and review the transcript to make sure that we were clear on what we were supposed to be talking about. I love that.
Yes, me too. And here's where you'll be able to see like office talk speed, words per minute, hold time and pauses, if there were any interruptions, how many and from whom. You can see, it's pretty nice because you could see the percentage of the phone call where you're put on hold. And I don't know if you're guilty of it, but my practice was guilty of putting me on hold for 7 minutes when I was trying to book cleaning.
I would
So
hang it.
I I was kind of spacing out initially, and then I called back again. If they were to put me on hold again, I would probably try to find somewhere else to go, honestly, but they didn't, thankfully. But yes, some good statistics here. So like from call coaching, or if you're trying to understand what's going on at the front of the practice when you're in and out of operatories. So it's kind of a nice way for the practice owner and the office managers to see what's going on, even when they're not there.
They can actually take these stats though and sit down and have a meeting and talk about like how well they're doing. They can compare where can we improve, because the one thing you want is you want a patient's experience to be amazing, and that starts with the phone call. That starts before they ever come through the door, right? That starts there.
Exactly. Yes.
This is analytics that I don't think we've actually paid attention to in the past that I think is going to be really valuable to a dental office.
I think so too. And honestly, I am quite frankly obsessed with the call transcripts and the ability to use AI to transcribe every phone call. Obviously, a full transcript is a lot to read through. So we do only take the summary and put the short summary of what was discussed in that call into the patient comm log. But obviously, if the staff of the office wants to go back and go through the word for word transcript, they have that ability to in our application as well. And then just being able to, you could filter out your calls over the last 2 years and see how many positive calls that you got. And I think that that's nice that we have these analytics and using AI for this use, because I just find this so helpful.
I love looking at the positive of the negative. You had 200 calls and 198 were amazing. That's like, you want 100% all the time. But yeah, I think that's really good. I think that's a great way to be able to tell a team member, hey, you're doing a good job.
Yes, definitely. And then even too, if you have 190 out of 200 positive phone calls, you need to get more Google reviews. So it's just like it could also trickle into other buckets of helping the practice and everything. So I love the Mango AI.
Yeah, I think if a doctor is going to spend any kind of money on marketing or anything, this is going to be a super important part of it, because, I've seen it where they would spend $30,000 on a marketing campaign, but yet their phones would ring and ring and ring and ring and no one answer. This will give them a good idea of their return on their investment, of how many calls they're going to receive and how many calls they're going to get because of that marketing. So I think this
Definitely.
is, to me, the number one thing.
Yeah. And then also all of those calls that they're getting, if they can't get to all of them, bringing your no answer rate to 0% essentially, because Margo can answer those calls. So even that is awesome.
I would love that. All of our calls get answered within 4 rings. I'd say 4 rings. That would be awesome.
I wish every dental office adopted this, because the amount of times I've just been in the chair as the patient and I'm like, wow, their phone's ringing a lot.
That's what you can hear. I didn't even think about that. While you're in the office, you can also hear.
Yes. Or even just in not only your dental practice, but your optometrist, your veterinarian, just anywhere that you go, and even restaurants or nail salons, you just hear that phone ringing. And maybe it's because I work at Mango Voice, but I'm like, I wish I had an AI receptionist to answer that, because it's distracting me.
We have some other new things that are going on too. Did we go over all the stats?
Yes, I think we went through all of our stats. We do also have a reports tab in our application as well, where we can kind of go in and check the inbound answer rate and kind of see how it's going there. So we could pull the inbound answer rate in our reports tab, so we could see overall, like if you wanted to do a custom date range of a week, all of the lines that you have, or if you wanted to just do your front desk 1, front desk 2, you can kind of alter it however you want. But you
Oh,
could see your answer rate percentage, total calls, how many of them were answered versus missed. So this is a great metrics to track. And then if you notice that your missed calls are pretty high, I would always prescribe getting Margo.
absolutely.
But yeah, pretty
I
neat
think
analytics that came out with
Margo
us.
can be an add-on is what I hear you saying. Once they get these stats, the analytics, and they go, "Oh, wow, I do need that." It can be an add-on. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes, you can always add that on. You don't need to start with it if you don't wish to. I obviously would always recommend trying it, but I know that there are some offices out there that are a little hesitant to get all the technology that's out. But then when you showed these metrics, it's kind of like, oh, well, if you had it, this would
Yeah.
be at 0.
Absolutely, right? That's what you want it to be at. So fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. I want to also talk about, because we're also doing something else. So I know that we also believe that a good trained team answering the phone is also very important. So tell me, what are we
Yes.
doing in that area?
So thanks to our lovely, lovely Laura Nelson
Love
on our
her.
team, we have rolled out a phone coaching program as well. And so what we have here is we have, depending on how many seats and how large your team is, we have different packages for your team. So that way they can actually be a part of our coaching program. We want to make sure all of the team in each practice is able to answer the phones. I've been in countless CE courses as a sponsor just in the back of the room, but always listening in. And it seems like a huge epidemic in the office that we see is if two at the front are on the phone and then the other phone's ringing and say someone in a hygiene room has to answer that phone, it's pretty highly likely that they won't know how to handle that phone call. So our coaching program is great because we're able to include everyone in the office. So that way, if someone calls out or if something's going on in the office, you can be confident and anyone in that on call for that day that is there can handle a phone call, which
Like questions like, do you take my insurance? You're actually working with an AI person who's trained to teach you how to handle those calls, which I think is really good so that you can learn on your own time. You can log in, log out, and you want consistency across the board. Why are you answering the phone if you don't know what you're doing,
Mhm.
right? So the training, I think the AI training is going to be really important. And again, that's something that they can contact you on.
Yes, absolutely. I can absolutely help and connect with you to get you signed up for our coaching program. I did want to note like what's included in these seats is like you'll be able to have your AI role play. So that way you're not necessarily talking with your teammates and your boss on these trainings. I feel like that can be a little anxiety inducing. So it's nice to have our AI agent work with you. So that way I feel like it takes a little bit of the stress off as you're training and going through this program. We do offer weekly live coaching office hours as well. And then there's a private community. And then you'll be able to access the training program at your own pace as well.
Buy as many seats as he wants or she wants.
Yeah, however many that you want. There's different packages depending on how large your team is. So if anyone wants to connect on that, I'm totally happy to answer any questions or
Yeah,
get you
we'll
signed up.
definitely include your email when we send it all out. We'll include your email so people can go because even a lot of our Mango Boys family right now may not be aware that we're offering that, which is something that they can look into because it's for large offices, it's for small offices, it's for everyone across the board.
Any
How does the doctor want that answered? Like that's really important to know. Yeah, so I think that's
totally.
good.
Yeah, I think everyone could benefit from phone coaching skills,
And
myself included.
I love what our statement was when we started. What did we say about the team members? We need to take care of our team members,
Oh, yes.
take care of our patients. And that's one
Yes.
thing that I think that this does all together. I think that having someone help with the phone, having someone help with the training, I think that our point is that, turnover is high in the dental office sometimes. And I think that's because we don't take good care of our team members.
Exactly. And the better your team communicates, the better it's going to be patient experience wise as well.
Agree 100%. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Mackenzie. So I will put all your information. Hopefully people will reach out to you and have a better understanding of what we do at Mango Voice. And you'll have to come back on and do it with me again.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. And I love that we are matching.
I love it too. Yes, I do. It's great. Well, you have a great day and I will talk to you soon.
You too. Thank you.